So today, we're going to be taking a few minutes to be talking about boundaries within our relationships. Specifically, what boundaries are, why we have them, and the benefits that come along with expressing boundaries, and then also giving a few different examples of when we need to start establishing boundaries. So often when we meet with couples on an individual basis, whether it's in a coaching setting or a counseling setting, when we start to get down to the nuts and bolts of why couples are having so many different disagreements about things going on within their relationship and in their lives, really it comes down to a few different main factors. Number one, feelings have typically been hurt over and over again. Somebody typically feels disrespected within the relationship. And really, when we get down even a little bit deeper into why so much conflict is happening, it's because personal boundaries have been broken multiple times or over and over and over again. So let's start to discuss what boundaries are. Boundaries are really a set of expectations or a set of guidelines and principles that we establish within our relationship to help each other understand what is suitable behavior, what is unsuitable behavior. So why do we need to establish boundaries? What are some examples of why it's important to establish boundaries? Well, one of the first reasons is that by establishing boundaries, you're really starting to help protect yourself from getting hurt and also from getting taken advantage of. Whether you're in the workplace or it's within your relationship and you're constantly feeling like you're having to almost lash out to make yourself heard, or you feel like your buttons are always getting pressed, or you're simply just feeling frustrated a lot of the time, you need to be able to step back and think about what boundaries are being crossed and what sort of expectations you need to express to your partner. Number two, it helps define who you are. Specifically, it's really helping you to express what you want and how you feel within your relationship. And number three, it helps minimize conflict and stress within your relationship. The couples that we see do the best and have the most fulfilling types of relationships have the clearest set of expectations and boundaries established for themselves and for each other. When you haven't done a good job of expressing and communicating to one another what you feel is right and what you feel is wrong, you're bound to have a lot of different problems. But when you can sit down like two adults and you can say, this is how I truly feel, and these are my expectations for you, what are your expectations for me, you're going to be able to have open and honest conversations with each other about going forward and what you need from one another. So, what are some signs that our boundaries are being crossed or we need to establish some boundaries? I'm going to give 3 examples. The first is that you might be constantly picking on your partner because from your perspective, what they're doing is wrong. If from your perspective, what they're doing is wrong, you need to sit down and discuss that with them, because it's unfair for you just to constantly be picking on them and really making them feel inferior if you've never really expressed to them how you feel about whatever it is, the actions that they're doing. Okay? They're not mind readers. So sit down and have a conversation. Number 2, you're continuing to bring up the past. If your partner is continuing to make the same mistake over and over and over again, it really comes down to that communication piece where you need to be discussing why it is that you feel the way that you do and the certain expectations or certain set of behaviors that you want your partner to exhibit within your relationship, because this is what you feel is appropriate and here are the things that you feel are inappropriate. And last but not least, you're giving your partner ultimatums. If you are really sitting down and threatening your partner at different levels, basically saying, you need to do this or else, or if you're not home by this time, this is going to happen. If you're doing that, really what you're saying is that my boundaries are being broken and I don't feel respected. So if you are feeling like that's happening on a continuous basis, sit down with your partner and discuss. Establishing boundaries can be a really scary thing to do if you've never done it before. So if that's the case for you, what I would recommend for you to do is to sit down with a pastor or sit down with a close friend or confidant and practice walking through and explaining yourself about your feelings and about the different boundaries that you want to start to establish within your relationship. It's one of the best ways to be able to sit down confidently with your partner and express your true feelings. So, I hope this has been helpful today. And again, make sure to check out more of our video blogs in the near future, and we'll see you soon.